Nearly 9 years ago now, General Motors relaunched its Camaro nameplate, launching an all-new take on that original pony car that was in production across 4 generations from 1965 through until 2002. The reborn 5th-generation Camaro was larger and more aggressive than anything to wear the nameplate before. It was designed primarily by GM Holden in Australia, and the 5th-generation Camaro and the 6th after it might not have sold as many examples every year as its predecessors, but they've become a favourite among muscle car fans who value their performance and handling over muscle cars of yore. But unless you're a muscle car fan or super car nerd, you probably aren't familiar with the name Al Oppenheiser. Yet for more than a decade, Oppenheiser has been the chief engineer for the Camaro and, according to most familiar with its car, it's the reason that it behaves and drives like it does. Yet come January, the guy behind engineering one of the most powerful gas-guzzling volume production high-performance cars you can buy is getting a new job, with General Motors' recently formed autonomous and electric vehicle division. His role? To help GM develop and engineer great zero-emission vehicles. So why the switch? Well, there are several reasons I could guess. I'll come to those in a second. But the official reason given by GM is that because electrification is playing a massive role in the company moving forwards, it wants, quote, some of our best talent to work on its current electric and future electric models. Interestingly too, Oppenheiser isn't getting a promotion per se. Moreover, he's switching from being a chief engineer on one product to another. That in of itself isn't so unusual because engineers and chiefs switch between programs all the time, as do designers, but it reinforces that GM's plans to go all electric aren't smoke and mirrors, as some of the viewers to this channel insist it is. And while that personnel move is a little inside baseball, it does suggest the future for electric vehicles at GM could be very good indeed. For example, muscle cars are built for performance. They have to handle large amounts of power at the wheels and deal with bucket loads of torque from traditionally large V8 engines. Electric cars have equally large or sometimes even larger amounts of torque to get onto the road, and with the right drivetrain can also be incredible performers. And while the motor in an electric car is much smaller than an internal combustion engine, the placement of the motor and the battery pack and how it gets its power to the wheels is of utmost importance. It's something that GM's press team have reiterated, stating that Oppenheiser had a reputation for always delivering what was asked of him and finding new ways to bring the best solutions to market. As many outlets have noted, the 6th-generation Camaro, far lighter and easier to handle than its predecessors, delivered exactly what GM needed at the time, a more efficient but equally engaging high-performance car. GM spokesperson Michael Albano put it like this, quote, now he's moving to an area where we can't afford not to deliver the right kind of vehicle to customers. Aside from getting the power to the road, it's likely that Oppenheimer's experience with muscle cars will come into play when designing new vehicle chassis and suspension systems. Thanks to these large battery packs that you'll find in every electric car, they are heavier than many other types of car on the road today, and so developing a car that handles well despite its weight is something that takes quite a lot of skill. Does this mean we'll see the Camaro shelved? Probably not yet. Muscle cars are likely to remain part of GM's lineup for the foreseeable future, but it doesn't mean that it's not serious about electric cars. Nor does it mean we'll see an all-electric Camaro in the near future, although, interestingly, GM has not discounted it as a possibility in the long term. And, as I'm sure many of you will remember, it even recently unveiled a concept e-Camaro Copo car at SEMA, filled with a pair of electric motors that it said could easily become a, quote, crate motor for enthusiasts to install in the future. What we can say, though, is that despite the impending cancellation of the Volt range extended EV, GM is in for the long haul when it comes to electric vehicles. Oppenheimer's move, and I suspect there will be others too, showcases that GM is acutely aware that it needs to up its electric car game or lose out. And in a world where it's trying to cut costs everywhere possible to fund that electric vehicle development, it makes total sense to put its best engineers on the case. But it also means something else. We're finally reaching a point where electric cars aren't side projects for mainstream automakers. They're projects which sit front and centre in a company's future plans. And yes, While Tesla is already where many of these companies want to be, it's a sign that the shift to electric is happening and will soon be accelerating. Given that Tesla's goal was originally to help accelerate the transition to sustainable transportation and energy, I think we should take this move as a very, very good sign. That's it. Don't forget to give us your thumbs up or your thumbs down, leave a comment, and as always, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell below. As always, if you'd like to support us through Patreon, we would love your assistance. You can find out more by going to patreon.com/transport evolved. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to keep evolving.